Alrighty, yo, hey guys, it's Beast, back with some more beastly content. So today I actually wanted to do a bit of a video about my own personal rig and a little bit of a brief discussion on how I am currently gaming. So I actually currently use a Ryzen 3 3200G paired with a Tesla M40 compute graphics card in graphics mode. That's, I do believe it's either 12 or 24 gigabytes of GDDR5 VRAM, so pretty good VRAM. But the thing is about this graphics card is, one, it doesn't come with a built-in it comes with a built-in heatsink, of course, but it doesn't come with a built-in fan because it's meant to be used in things like server racks and such. So the way it is now, I have purchased an eBay little aftermarket green-looking thing that I stuck two of these little fans on, which kept it okayly cool during the let's say winter months where we didn't have an air conditioner. But I recently put the air conditioner in the window, so now I have just resorted to way cooler temperatures by just taking the side panel off of my computer and putting it directly in front of my air conditioner, as you can see on the screen right now. So, if you're wondering how gaming performance is, first of all, you can see on screen now, here's the current gaming performance. As for the graphics card itself, performance-wise, this works pretty dang well in Windows 11. You're really not getting much performance bust out of it. And here's the kicker. I only spent less than $100 on the entire setup. Well, subtract the new power supply because my old power supply wasn't that good. And yeah, we can count the cable in too. So you're going to need to buy a power supply adapter for the GPU so that it converts the power pins over to actually being able to use the normal GPU power pins, because as it sits currently, the card actually uses a CPU power pin. So either you're gonna have to use a second power supply or just buy this little adapter on Amazon that will allow it to connect to a normal PCI cable. But besides the power adapter, you're gonna need the graphics card, which is about 50 bucks on eBay depending on which one you find. I found a great deal on mine. It was a bid. I won it for $44 free shipping. Great deal here. $44 card. $20 is what I believe I spent on the green heatsink shroud thing. It started melting when I first put it in because I put my fans in backwards and it was forcing heat all into that plastic. So we figured that out. We learned that mistake. You want to make sure your fans are blowing all the air out of the back of the GPU. The front of it, if you're pulling that air through that plastic thing, it's going to melt that little thing. The best cooling solution I've found so far, though, is just setting it in front of an air conditioner. If you're using any of these little weird shroud thingies that they make and they 3D print and they tell you to buy these fans, and you bought the fans and everything, and you have the fans full cranked, and your card's still hitting 90 degrees Celsius like mine was at one point, then just stick it right in front of your air conditioner and take the side panel off, and you will be good to go for days. Even my hard drive doesn't get over 10 degrees Celsius. I'm telling you, it's cool. But anyway, so I figured we'll go ahead and probably already seen some of the games going on here. But we'll go ahead and just run a game. I'm going to run one that's not going to eat up my CPU. I'm actually just going to show you how my performance is in Destiny 2 on my settings. I think I'm actually playing on really high settings, so we should be good. Hopefully Destiny 2, yeah, okay. So the season is coming soon for the next Destiny 2 season, and while I am currently a Fallout and No Man's Sky channel, I do believe, due to the fact that I bought the 1-year pass of all 4 of the season passes for this terrible, turns out Lightfall's not even that okay. So I'm not going to talk about Lightfall or my opinions of it. I love it, I hate it at the exact same time, only because of what comes after, but we'll see y'all when. We have finally loaded into the game. Now the only current thing going on is Guardian games. I'm mainly just on really to see how many days left of this season there are. I am already pretty much done with this season, so I'm actually believing it will be the next reset that this season will be out. So we might see maybe a day 1 live stream even of that, where we just play the first day's worth of stuff, because I mean we're gonna get through it pretty quickly. But this is just the exotic quest still, so it doesn't look like they did any sort of extra quest. Maybe we'll get, I don't even think we got a closeout quest or anything. It's pretty sad. So anyway, let's go ahead and test the performance of this. We're going to go ahead and head on into Neptune, and I'll show you how we get our performance in this little area here. And actually, we're going to go here. Alright, see you all in a sec. So here we go, let's see what's going on here. So first things first, I will say that my CPU itself is a bottleneck on this system. As for graphics performance though, I really don't ever have any issues. I will say one thing I do usually deal with sometimes occasionally is Windows likes to try and update the driver for the, and by the way, this runs better when I'm not recording as well. And we do still get a pretty consistent 50 to 60 FPS, but it does dip down below just because of our terrible CPU. If the CPU was a Ryzen 5 3400G, we would be having a much better time, but that is as said. So, as you can see though, this is how it's doing. Pretty good overall. It's really not bad on this game. On No Man's Sky, that game needs even more of a CPU. So I really do need to be working on getting another CPU. That's just the fact of the matter is I need to get a new CPU. So I think that is what I'm going to end up doing eventually, is getting the Ryzen 5 3400G. That is the other thing about this setup, is you will be needing to use some sort of processor that has integrated graphics. So if you're building a system from scratch, that's alright. But if you've got one already and it doesn't have integrated graphics, that means that you're going to have to use another graphics card of some sort with a video output. It can be a really cheap one, it just has to have a display output so that you can use the display. As I said before, the Tesla M40 does not naturally come with a display port. There's also some setup to be done. It's not going to work just straight out of the box. I mean, actually it might with Windows 11, honestly. I didn't really have to do too much, but I will say you'll have to install the drivers, of course. I think that's about all I really had to do was install the drivers for the video card nowadays. Like, using a Tesla M40 for gaming is very much plausible now, and I'm very happy that they decided to allow us to do things like that, because it is just absolutely wonderful that we are able to use this card for something besides compute tasks, because it really is a Titan X in performance. So I should be getting better frames than this, but I need a better CPU. And when I'm not recording, I don't hit below 70 FPS on this thing. The instant I start recording, my frames start dipping, the more the CPU usage goes up by the OBS. I need a higher core count CPU, that's just the fact of the matter. This little Ryzen 3, while it's okay, it's not doing what I need it to do. I need to get me a Ryzen 5 3400G. I don't think my board can support any higher than that, and I don't really want to be buying a card with a different video output. I think what I'd rather do is, I'm not sure really. I don't think I'd really need a CPU higher than a Ryzen 5 3400G with this card paired with it, and it would do phenomenal for all sorts of gaming tasks, I would assume. I know my Ryzen 5 3600 is playing. While not being the best, was pretty good. And you can also get the Ryzen 5 3400G Pro, but when it comes to a Tesla M40 setup, if you're wanting to try it, if you have the integrated Ryzen GPU, iGPU version of a Ryzen CPU, aka an APU, like the Ryzen 3 3200G, or the Ryzen 5 3400G, or the 2200G, etc., etc., or maybe even just an Intel Series i3 or i5 with Intel integrated graphics and a display port on the board, you will be able to use this card with no issues. It does seem to work best with AMD CPUs, at least in my own experience. I've had almost zero issues. It was basically just straight up out of the box setup. The only thing I ever run into is sometimes on multi-display things, and I don't think I've actually got a PhysX driver for this card installed. I actually never really did even try to worry with getting PhysX installed for this card, just because I heard it's a nightmare. PhysX isn't a big deal to me. For some of you, if you play more Borderlands games, you might be wanting to get the PhysX on. Also, the Batman games are notorious for using PhysX. I will also mention we are currently playing on what we usually don't play on, is keyboard and mouse, which is very weird for me to say, but I've been playing a lot of games where I just prefer to play on controller. Like Fallout games, I'm going to be on a controller. No Man's Sky, I don't know, I haven't played it on keyboard and mouse, but it's a spaceship game, and I mean, you feel the vibrations of your spaceship in the controller, so why wouldn't you be using the controller in that game too? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I do believe this is about it, though. This is how it is to game on a Tesla M40. Pretty comfy, I must say. The only thing I'd say is, if you're expecting the little plastic CP, or the little plastic adapter to fit onto your shroud, and the little fans to keep it cool enough to not be thermal throttling without any extra aid, you are sorely mistaken. However, if you stick it in front of an air conditioner, and you leave the shroud on it and have that already cooling it, and then also the side panel of your computer off so the air conditioner is also cooling it, you will have no thermal throttling issues with your wonderful Tesla M40. The other thing you could do is get an all-in-one water cooler and something like the NZXT Kraken all-in-one water cooler adapter for GPUs. That thing's pretty cool. I actually want to get one of those and put one of those on this for when we get on into the winter months and it's time to take the AC window unit away. I'll have something that will actually keep this monster cool without needing an air conditioner in front of it. But besides that, it is a phenomenal experience. It was not bad when it was thermal throttling. It was just turning its clocks down, not even, but it was pretty hard on some things. Some things it was pretty hard on. It was turning VRAM down a whole bunch, which caused a lot of weird things, like stuttering and such. So I get a lot more smoother frames now that we're rocking the cooler setup. The other thing is, and by the cooler setup I mean literally an air conditioner. So the other thing is, I want to go ahead and show you just what we're doing here while we're playing Destiny 2, what temperatures we're hitting with it being in front of an air conditioner on everything, really, just to show you. This is crazy. So as you can see here, the highest my hard drives ever hit is 23 degrees Celsius. My GPU's highest temperature has been 60 degrees. Apparently a hotspot is 73, but 60 degrees instead of 90 under full load playing a game, guys. So we are going to sit here and just let it hit the graphics card hard because we're not all tabbed out of the game. And this should definitely get it to where it's going to be. I don't actually think it can go above 60. My AC unit is set at 58 degrees, and my graphics card seems to stay at 60 degrees, so 2 degrees higher than 2 inches away from the AC. Maybe, it's not 2 inches. I have it angled at a side, and it doesn't create moisture in my case. That's what I made sure of. I didn't want it too close to the AC or too powerful of an AC. It's just a little 110. But it does keep the graphics extremely cool, which helped a lot. I was thermal throttling extremely badly before I did this. But as you can see here, 62 degrees, as you can see, that's not bad. It will not get anywhere near to what it was getting to. It was getting to 90 degrees before. The most I think I've seen it hit on a very long gaming session being in front of this AC as it is was probably about 70-75 degrees, no more higher. It is definitely staying cooler, and all of these clock rates stay at these stable rates. This was getting knocked down to like 725 megahertz before because we were thermal throttling so bad. The graphics clock was probably about 900. The memory was down till about like, I don't think the memory was too bad actually. I think the memory was only like 2400 megahertz, but that's still pretty big performance difference just for slapping it in front of an air conditioner. But like I said, the proper solution would be an all-in-one cooler, as I am on a budget currently, as the channel does not currently earn any revenue until November due to not being able to close my AdSense. Yeah, but for now, this is the setup. I can't wait to get a new CPU. I gotta get me a new CPU eventually. I want that Ryzen 5 3400G. But I do believe that will be all. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you're planning on trying this yourself, I will say go for it, honestly, provided you have enough power and you get that adapter. No one mentioned that adapter enough on any of the guides when I read over this, so I didn't buy my adapter when I first purchased my card and everything, so I had everything except for, well, first, I had the card with my current power supply, and somehow had gotten the GPU PCIe connector to fit, but it wasn't powering on the system, so I assumed my 500 or 450 watt power supply wasn't enough, but it doesn't seem like I use over 300 watts, so I don't think I even needed to upgrade power supplies, but I ended up getting a 600 watt Thermaltake Smart 80 plus bronze power supply just to feel a little safer about it. The power supply in my computer was not very good. This started as a base Ryzen i3 3200G 8 gig of RAM system. I just added 8 more gigs of RAM and have slowly been updating it. I need to get to the Ryzen 5 3400G. I think that's my stopping point, really. I think that paired with this Tesla M40 would be the perfect gaming experience, in my own opinion, at least for the price point that we are going to be getting this at. I'm going to be getting a used $50 Ryzen 5 3400G Pro. I want to go for the Pro series because they have slightly higher clocks and things like that. I don't really care about the Vega graphics. As a matter of fact, I have to leave it enabled just to render the display, but that's all it's going to be doing. But I do believe that is all. So I'm out. See you. Skip Peace Mode. Let's go.